Hey, how's everybody doing? Let me get my tuner set up here. All right, and I want to show you. I'll show this on the screen if I can. This is a pretty cool tuner amp. So this is the iStrobosoft Music tuner app. It's pretty cool. It's a paid app. I don't remember what I paid. It's developed by Peterson, so it's a Peterson strobe tuner on your phone. The cool part is it's got sweetened tunings available. So I've bought some of the sweetener packs. What sweetening does is it adjusts your tuning just a tiny bit to accommodate changes in intonation and changes in string flex on the fretboard. I don't know how to explain that, but I think a lot of sweetened tuning will have, like, the G string is kind of notorious. It will automatically adjust it down just a couple of cents on an electric guitar, so that it's not that far off when it's open, but it's not that far off when you're actually fretting a note. So I'm on, let's see here, all sweeteners. I don't need all sweeteners. Settings, guitar bass, I think that's what I've bought. I am currently on the GTR, Peterson exclusive sweetened tuning for guitar, especially good for guitars with 3 saddle bridges and short scale electric guitars. This is not a short scale, but it's definitely a 3 saddle bridge. So let's go back and look at the tuner itself. Turn this reverb down. So that's pretty dead on. That's close enough to what I want to show you. I was trying to work out a song, and I kept noticing it sounded out of tune. And I know everybody's experienced this from time to time. I've got this nut cut just about as close as you can get. I'm about 10 thousandths of an inch off this first fret. When I depress that 3rd fret and hit, there's just the lightest little tick. There's almost no space there whatsoever. And say when I pick the G string, you can see right there, I'm kind of dead on tune. If I barely fret it, I'm only about 4 cents sharp. Still a little sharp, about 6 or 7 cents sharp. But the real challenge is if you put any pressure on it at all, that same note goes 26 cents sharp. Let's go to the B, or the A. So if I fret it with the amount of pressure that I would like, I'm a little sharp, but I'm not terrible. But if I squeeze it all the way down to the fretboard, we're up 30 cents sharp. And I think a lot of times I will catch myself pressing a lot harder than I need to. E string. 5 cents I can live with. But man, you get crazy and you start squeezing it. We're at 30, 33. It gets way off. It's one thing to pull a string, and I tend to do that too. I'll get a little carried away and end up accidentally bending the string on a chord, which obviously you don't want to do, but just even pressing straight down, you get a lot of variation based on how tight you press. So I know we've all experienced that before. We play a chord and it sounds like we're out of tune, and it's because we're squeezing too hard. We're pressing too hard on the fretboard. That has less of an impact further up the fretboard, especially if your intonation's good and you've got your string height set fairly low. It's not as critical, but man, up here close to the nut, you got to be really careful not to overdo it, or it's really easy to pull your string out of tune. Most of my guitars, this one has medium jumbo frets. The bigger your fret, the more you can pull it out of tune by pressing it too tight. So keep that in mind. If your guitar sounds like your open chords or you've got notes out of tune, or you're playing notes up here near the nut that are out of tune, pay attention to how hard you're pressing, because it's really easy to screw yourself by putting a lot more downward pressure on those strings than is required. Hope that helps somebody. I hope that makes sense. Let me know. I'm sure a lot of you guys that have been playing for a long time already know this. This is not new information for you. I'd like to know what your experience has been and how you taught yourself to put the right amount of pressure on the strings rather than stretching everything out of tune. Hope everybody's doing well. Have a good day.